In terms of the wildfires, the Pacific Palisades fires, I'm from Los Angeles. I know a decent number of people that have been directly affected, including some that have had their whole homes burnt to the ground. You ask, how did this happen? Why did this happen? There are a number of reasons. Of course, Bernie Sanders and the progressive wing of the Democratic Party are trying to pin everything on climate change. Even if that were true, which frankly I don't believe, you have to account for the fact that the environment was set to literally tinder. If there's a knob, they turn that up so high. How do they do it? California, in its infinite environmental consciousness, decided that nobody could pick up debris from the floor's floor, or clear chaparral, or have controlled burns, which have been going on since ancient Aboriginal times in Australia. This is the state of the California legislature and governor. Then you have the Los Angeles mayor defunding the fire department, instituting diversity, equity, and inclusion in an effort to get more untrained firefighters, people that couldn't even pick up others and carry them to safety, and then blaming them for being the one putting themselves in that position.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Certainly the mark of a good public servant. Then you have the fact that during what Gavin Newsom called atmospheric rivers, massive rains, they did not prepare. They did not build new reservoirs. They did not capture the water. It must flow out to sea. Dam it up. No, you can't do that because you have the delta smelt that has to be accounted for. So for one little delta smelt, a species, California is willing to sacrifice its farmers, its food production, and the homes of many, many people all over the state today in Pacific Palisades. And what happened with the insurance companies? You'll note the fact that insurance companies decided to withdraw and cancel many of the policies that they had outstanding in that area. How could they do this? Why could they do this? Well, the insurance companies are paid to evaluate risk. This is part of the function that benefits society. The insurance company will tell you whether or not things are going according to plan. And when they have to raise the rates because they perceive that you are at an increased risk of, for example, wildfire because all of the chaparral and the debris that's not able to be taken from the ground, or however else they decide what the risks are for them, they go to the California Insurance Board. And they say, we need to raise rates. And the California board, being communist and wanting the cost to be borne by private industry, says, no, you cannot do that. We want to remain in power and you take the losses. So what do you do if you're a private company? Are you in business to lose money? I think not. You up and leave. The insurance adjusters should get a bonus from their insurance companies, and they did nothing wrong. They canceled the policies months before. This is very unfortunate. My heart goes out to all those people, including my friends who have lost their houses. But when you take a look at it from the insurance standpoint, they did what the market would dictate in order to stay alive. They saw the fire before anybody else did, or the likelihood of it. So now people are on the hook for multi-million-dollar houses. And this falls at the feet of the mismanagement of California. The whole, we're going to focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, no common sense, no real priorities, only neo-racism affecting how the money is spent. The defunding of the fire department goes into diversity, equity, inclusion programs, the homeless industrial complex. And by the way, it is very possible that it was a homeless person who might have set it ablaze because they have been reported doing so many a time. And when you have a tinderbox and somebody just drops a match, kapow, it has the ability to go up like that, as it did. And it spread all over, not only in the Palisades, but in Altadena and Pasadena. Maybe there's more to come. I certainly hope not. I know many people that have been negatively affected by this, that are having a hard time breathing, that have lost their homes, as I mentioned previously, and it is tragic to me. And the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to be continually hoodwinked by the progressive policies that they make sound really good, that they're for diversity, that they're for equity, that they are for fairness, while people's houses burn down, while you're allowed to steal from stores up to $950 until very recently in the state of California? Will we continue to go down this road, or is the Trump effect to do a U-turn and pull back? And yes, the governor of California, French laundry, eating during COVID times, Gavin Newsom, should absolutely resign, along with the mayor of Los Angeles, who was warned ahead of time and decided to go to Ghana while this was possibly going to take place. And then she came back and was unable to answer a question as to whether or not she owes her citizens who elected her an apology. But this is the continued demented virtue signaling that happens amongst leftists. Their brains have rotted. They have been affected by the woke mind virus that is negatively impacting everybody in the state as their policies are implemented and proven to be absolutely destructive, as shown by the ashes and debris remaining of the houses in Pacific Palisades, these beautiful multi-million-dollar mansions that are now gone, or even the modest home that still commanded a fancy sum. There's a beautiful hike in the Palisades. Gone. Will take years to come back and be what it once was. And it could have been managed. You might have had the fire. It might have been dry. But at least you could have had pressure within the fire hydrants, as the firefighters have stated that they did not have. That people said that there was no evidence of it, and then you have firefighters coming on TV directly afterwards stating it was exactly so. Because anything that comes from the right-hand side of the aisle, the media deems as conspiracy theory. All I know is that there are thousands of homes that have been burnt, singed, lives lost, and many lives that have been negatively affected by these horrendous policies. And for those of you who complain about the insurance policies, if you were in their position, you would do the exact same thing. And it is the fault of the progressive policies of California that they did not allow them to raise the rates, because they want to control, because they are communists. Neo-communism, neo-Marxism is what it is. And they took their ball and went home. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Was this fully avoidable? Probably not. You're always going to have fires in dry brush area, but it could have been managed. It could have been a lot better, but not under the policies of these horrific people. The same ones that when you build that $20 million mansion in Malibu, you're never going to be able to get that permit again, because they refuse to give out permits. Because they are so in tune with nature, with Gaia, with Mother Earth, that they don't want any more building. They want you to leave, but they'll allow all of the mobile homes to park on the edge of PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, and block the view of that glorious Pacific Ocean. The most expensive real estate in the world, just about, and your view is blocked. They can rent those out on Airbnb and make a fancy profit. But if you think that they're going to hand out another permit to those homeowners who invested and paid so much in taxes, dubious outlook at best. These are the failed policies of the progressives. Can we please get back to some common sense? We elected Trump. Now let's transform California, not into red, just common freaking sense.